Now, I have tried literally every routine you can imagine, and most of them are a part of somebody's attempt to try and take your money, except for one. Now, last month, I made more money than I ever have with SMMA, and I also went out every single weekend. Right? So I have my routine that allows me to make money, but it doesn't restrict me from having fun with my personal life. And in this video, I'm gonna break it down for you. So let's rewind back to 2019 when I was first getting into the entrepreneurial space and I was being flooded with gurus who were telling me that cold showers and meditation and waking up at this time and doing this exercise was the key to success. And because I was so hungry and I was so driven to find success and these were the only things that I knew, I followed them religiously. But what ended up happening is I failed to stick to them. And I would start one challenge after another and fail and fail and fail and fail again. And over time, it ate away at my self-confidence, which ultimately led to think that I am a failure. And then I remember one time I was sitting there on YouTube watching somebody who I really respected on the online marketing world. And he told me that if you are not winning in 2019, you are going to fail as an entrepreneur. And as a new entrepreneur who was just trying to start my agency, that hit me hard. And I figured that my inability to not stick to routines and my inability to not be consistent with myself was going to be the reason that I was never going to find success with entrepreneurship. But then, despite constantly following off the routine hamster wheel and never being able to stick to any of these challenges for more than 20, 30 days, I started to make some money. And my business started to grow despite my inability to follow routines. And that was when I came to one major realization, and that is that you don't make more money while standing in a freezing cold shower. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't have a routine. Humans, we are built to follow systems and to install habits into our life, whether they be for good or for bad, and I am no different. But I began to cut out every single thing that didn't directly contribute towards my goal, which at the time was to build my business and to make more money. And ultimately, within 2 years of going through this rat race of failing routine after routine after routine and struggling to make my first dollar online, I had over 200 clients and was starting future agencies in 5 weeks and getting them to $20,000 a month. So now my routine consists of 3 core things which allow me to make as much money as I possibly can. Now the first one is that I wake up as early as possible, and I don't wake up as early as possible to beat the sun or for any other reason than I just genuinely enjoy working in the morning as opposed to any time of the day. I genuinely feel that if I wake up at 8 a.m. like I'm a non-productive person. I genuinely do not like the feeling. So in my own personal scenario, I usually wake up between the hours of 4 and 5 a.m. And after I get up, I get out of bed, I have a shower. Yes, it is usually a colder shower, not because of any scientific health benefits, but because it just purely wakes me up. And then after I have this cold shower, I will walk upstairs, I will grab a coffee, get a little bit of caffeine in me, and then start my day. Now, in my earlier days, I would work for hours and get almost nothing done. And the reason why I would get almost nothing done is because with the nature of my first companies, it involved a lot of client communication. And what this little client communication was doing to me, even though it might have just been a Slack message or just been a text or just been an email, it was robbing me of something known as deep work. Now, deep work is when you go into a state of mind where you are directly focused on the task at hand. Your phone is on do not disturb. You are not eating. You have one browser open and you are strictly focused on the task at hand. Now, when I discovered deep work, it literally 5x'd my productivity. And I went from working for 10 hours a day and getting 2 hours worth of work done to working 2 hours a day and getting 10 hours worth of work done. So my deep work protocol is I first put all of my devices onto do not disturb. I personally like to intermittent fast in the morning only because I feel more productive on an empty stomach. And then the third thing that I do is I only focus on one task at a time. And the reason why is because, well, have you ever been on a 5 kilometer run? Whether you have or you haven't, you'll be able to relate to this story. So if you were to put your shoes on and go out the door, it would be easier for you to run 5 kilometers than it would be for you to run 1 kilometer 5 times. And the reason why is because the hardest thing is starting. And that's why in order to master deep work, it's less about, how to get into deep work and more about how to stay in deep work. And I promise you that it only takes one text message, one notification, one, reach for the chip and put it into your mouth to take you out of deep work. And that's why instead of trying to will your way through deep work, you want to make it easier for you to succeed. And the best way to make it easy for you to succeed is to eliminate distractions as a whole. So that is what I do after I wake up, I get my coffee, and I sit down at my desk. I spend anywhere between 1 to 5, 6, 7 hours in deep work, usually dependent on how many RSC calls or team meetings that I have during the day, which allows me to get everything that I need done and then get ahead of everybody else within my company and within my industry as a whole. Now, after I have gone through an intense period of deep work, inevitably I will begin to experience mental fatigue. And in the beginning, I tried to David Goggins my way through this, and I would try to constantly put in the work and to keep grinding. And I've bought into the hustle or die mentality, but that's just not how humans are wired, right? No human under normal circumstances without taking, performance enhancing drugs, which I do not, is going to be able to relentlessly work for 10, 11, 12 hours straight in deep work. It's just not how we're wired. So instead of trying to fight the system and trying to continually work on projects with a lower level of brain output, I say screw it. And this is usually around the time when I get up out of my desk and I put the running shoes on, or I drive to the gym to engage in a consistent exercise routine. Now, I personally grew up playing hockey, and I started working out at the young age of just 12 years old. And actually, the reason I started working out is because I was once told that going into a hockey season, if I didn't do 100 push-ups a day, I wasn't going to be able to be strong enough to make the top team. So every single day, I went up into my bedroom and I would do 200 to 300 push-ups a day. I ended up making that team, and from that moment on, I have been consistent working out. And one of the things that I can tangibly say is yes, the mind is connected to the body, and a strong body will also give you a strong mind. Part of the reason why I embarked on these major challenges, such as running 100 kilometers and other physical feats, is to strengthen my mind. Because, when you go through the stress of building a body or getting a six-pack abs or running 100 kilometers, right, the stress of your cold emails not being opened are very negligible in comparison. So a consistent exercise routine. I personally enjoy cardio, I do weightlifting, and then I also do some calisthenics. But that is just me. That's what works for me. That is what I enjoy. I don't have any big fitness goals at this specific time. It is more just to maintain my figure, maintain shape, and also be able to perform in athletics. Now, the fourth element to my routine is the most important thing of my routine. And that is that when I finish, I am done. When I am done my work for the day, when I have completed all the tasks that I have on my list, I don't go and mindlessly read books just because some guru on the internet told me to. I don't go and meditate just because I feel like I have to, right? If I don't have any work to do, if I don't have any projects to tackle, if I don't have any fires to put out, I go out and I have fun. I go out and I do things that aren't work related, because in my personal life, the ultimate goal isn't to have the most amount of money as possible, because in order to achieve the most amount of money, you're going to have to live a very undesirable life. And I also understand that the odds of me taking out Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos is so small. So if you're competing to become the richest, that's a game that you're likely not going to win. On the other hand, if you are trying to create a fulfilling life, a life that you enjoy, a life that when you wake up in the morning, you're excited to get on to the day, well, you're going to need three key things in order to make that happen. It's health, wealth, and relationships. And if you neglect any one of those three things, you are not going to feel fulfilled, right? If you make a lot of money and you're in great shape, but you don't maintain those relationships with your friends, well, you're going to be the rich guy and the jacked guy that nobody likes. And you thinking right now, you probably know somebody in your life that, yes, they're the perfect guy, they have a nice car, but nobody enjoys them. So they continue to buy more cars to make them feel fulfilled with themselves, to really boost up their ego because they're so insecure because nobody likes them. And that is not what I am trying to do. I want to build a life that I actually enjoy living. And in order for me to do that, I need to invest into the relationships that I have within my life. And so therefore, once I have tackled the projects, once I have tackled my work, I go and enjoy myself. I go play golf. I go out with my friends. I go and do things that bring me ultimate fulfillment. Thank you for watching this video. My only hope is that you got at least 10x the value in relation to the time that you invested to watch this. And if you did, I'd appreciate if you hit the subscribe button.